So you have to wonder, is it possible that this is a brand new series for the market value chart show here at sixscalecantina.com? And I say, yes. Look who I have next to me, the maestro, the man of hot collectibles. And together, we're calling this the Star Wars show, baby. Let's dive into all of this right now. All right. And welcome everybody to the first episode of the Star Wars show right here at Six Scale Cantina. And look who we have in the cantina, the maestro himself, the man of hot collectibles, Dante. We're starting this, baby.
Officially episode 1, my friend. We always, we all need to start somewhere, and this is the perfect time, the perfect moment to start the Star Wars show. I just want to say thank you to everyone who's joining right now to this video stream, whatever you want to call it. But we are here, episode 1, man. I can't wait to talk about because we have a lot to talk tonight.
Absolutely. And while this is Six Scale Cantina and the Star Wars show, I have the link to the Man of Hot Collectibles channel within the video description. Don't forget to subscribe to not only me here at Six Scale Cantina, but also to the Man of Hot Collectibles. And look, we're recording this kind of early in the day. I still got my coffee, baby, right here.
Got my water.
You got your water, and I got it right here in the official my coffee anyway, the official Six Scale Cantina mug. You can go ahead. A lot of you were asking for a lot of these. For when am I going to do the official mugs? So I have the link within the video description if you want to go ahead and pick one up. One of these babies right here. You could also go to sixscalecantina.com where the market value chart is. And there's a link on there as well if you want to check it out and all that jazz. But yeah, Dante, we've got a lot to talk about. We've had a couple of live shows. You had yours on Friday. I had one on Saturday. A lot going on right now in the
Mhm.
Star Wars world.
So, man, it's a lot going on. It's a lot going on. And we mention this all the time. I think this is the perfect time to be a Star Wars fan. We have so much shows coming, figures coming, a lot of things coming. So yeah, man, I can wait to dive in and talk about something that we all love, which is Star Wars.
Yeah, and you know, it's real exciting because it's been a crazy year. And maybe we'll talk about that whether this episode. We're just gonna have a free flowing conversation. You know me, I've got some things bookmarked so we can kind of get into a little bit of some things. But, with the Star Wars show, really, we kind of talk not only about Star Wars hot toys, but about Star Wars in general. And of course, when you talk about Star Wars in general, it also, relates to what's going to be happening with Star Wars hot toys. So this year's been crazy, I think, for Star Wars hot toys. And now you've got you got an anime for Star Wars, Visions, I believe that it's called, that just came out and started this week. Dante, where you had the Bad Batch that was out, coming off the epic Mandalorian season 2. You got the book of Boba Fett coming out in December. You have the Andor series coming out next year. The Obi-Wan series coming out next year. You have the Mandalorian season 3 coming out next year. There's a lot going on, my friend.
Man, we have a lot of options in the menu. That's for
Mm.
sure. We gonna be, we're gonna have a lot of discussions, a lot of possibilities. I'm just very, excited and eager to watch the Obi-Wan series because we discussed this in our previous shows, in your live stream on Saturday and Friday as well that this Obi-Wan show is gonna be the closest thing we ever gonna get to the original trilogy. The fact that we're gonna have Obi-Wan, the fact that we're gonna have Darth Vader, possibility of Palpatine. I mean, come on, man! Like Leia, Luke. I'm already crazy. I'm already going crazy here.
Yeah, I you know, I think Disney, has saw the results of the Mandalorian season 1, right? And then the results of the Mandalorian season 2. And I think we are gonna go. I know I'm going crazy inside in my spirit because you know how much of a Star Wars fan I am,
Oh, are you?
and even my whole collection. I don't even have I don't even have a One Piece baby that's non Star Wars. Isn't that crazy?
Wow. Wow. Well, you need to start doing the Back to the Future thing. Remember what we were talking about?
Oh man,
That's gonna be opening
man.
another can of worms too.
Great Scott! Is it
Great
possible?
Scott, is it possible? No, man, I'm telling you, we had a really good conversation. Shout out to everyone who showed up on the live stream well, not last night, Saturday night with Aries in Aries channel. That we got a really nice conversation about these upcoming shows, especially Obi-Wan. That was the main series that we tackled it. But in this episode, first episode of the Star Wars show, we just want to talk about you know, what are the possibilities, man? Like we know that we're gonna see some really cool characters coming, but I'm just curious to see how they're gonna put the story together. It's gonna be like a 6 to 7 hour movie if you think about it, right? 6 episodes about 1 hour each. Man, they have a lot to explore.
They have a ton to explore. I think Dante, and you're exactly right. And we're going to dive into a lot of that. You know, coming up here on the show later. Book of Boba Fett, Obi-Wan series. So much to explore. Some other series as well. We're going to do that a lot, as we mentioned, on the Star Wars show here. But I figured we'd kick it off, and we'll just see here. I want to get your thoughts on some things that I've been talking about, and so I pulled up Cody. I'm on sixscalecantina.com. And if none of you have had, that are watching this, sixscalecantina.com bookmarked, you may want to consider doing so. It has all the news, latest trends, and prices of all Star Wars Hot Toys figures within the secondary market, within the market value chart. And right now in that little search box, Dante, I put in Cody. And you can see right here that Cody is trending up and is right now at $416. And when we're talking about upcoming shows, upcoming figures, upcoming buzz, and whatnot, I want to show you some things here. I'm pulling this up onto the screen, and you can just see back. Gosh, when was this? Looks like just from September 25th. So I guess yesterday, because we're recording this today, Dante, and you can see right here, $410, but $35 in shipping. So what, like 425 really, not including um the shipping and the taxes. So for
Mhm.
about four, probably about let's say 420, not including the shipping, which would be 25, um, and the taxes. And look, I've been talking about this. You've talked about it on your live shows as well, and we have a lot of things going on with Star Wars. Man, I just want to talk about this with you because there seems like there's an incredible amount of buzz on this Captain Rex, and someone spoke about that over the last couple of shows. It seems like I'm thinking it was Fabio. It's almost like you're dangling a carrot. When is this coming out? When is this coming out? It's almost like I feel like we're kind of waiting, Dante. I'm like waiting for them to give us the green flag so that we can go ahead and start and push the gas and the pedal and go. I don't know. What do you think about this? I mean, I, someone
Well,
brought up. Yeah, go ahead, because I someone brought up it can go on waitlist again as a possibility. I mean, what do you think?
Well, this is to me. This is one of the most anticipated figures of this year. A lot of people are waiting very patiently. We discussed this in previous shows, live streams, you name it. I'm gonna stick with what my sources said. My sources are telling me this figure is pretty much ready, and it's just a matter of releasing it to the public. Now the question is when. People saying next week. People saying the first week of October, within October, you name it. I have a feeling that this figure is coming very soon. Again, I'm gonna stick with what my sources are telling me. And you know, I think that one of the reasons why this figure was maybe a pushback originally was maybe because they were doing some improvements on the figure itself. Like,
Mhm.
the 501st Battalion, to me, is one of the best bodies for us for the trooper. Period. I mean, perfect. Ratchet joints, really good
I saw
articulation.
your review. Yeah,
You
I
know,
was
Man, so it is I think that's the route they're gonna go. I think it's gonna have the same body of the 501st.
Mhm.
I don't think we're gonna have the Cody issue with arm that was a bit loose, or some
Yeah. No.
screws, uh, loose screws or things like that. So I think it's gonna be worth the wait. So this is just a matter of time. We're gonna see Rex coming in October, no matter what. I think.
Yeah, I feel you. We're gonna get him in October, and I guess remember way back a few months ago we were talking about maybe it was 4 months ago. I don't know when it 3 4 months ago we were talking about hey, this has a recipe of this can go on waitlist before it gets in stock. And then I took the yellow alert off. I think these are going to get in stock. Someone on the panel the last couple of shows, we had one Friday, had one Saturday, mentioned this, and I started to think with everything that's going on, how high those 501st are selling, all the buzz for Star Wars, Book of Boba Fett's right around the corner. You know, uh, I don't know. I mean, what do you think about that? I mean, I know that this is not going to be in stock if it gets in stock anywhere near. I don't care how much more people think that they're going to make of this over Cody. They're certainly not going to make as many of these as the Mandalorian. It's just not a character. Captain Rex. People know what Baby Yoda is and the Mandalorian is. Casual fans really don't know what this is. I, what do you think?
Well, I think once the announcement or once the release is done in Hong Kong, and once we get it for the review, and a lot of when you see the reviews, when you see the promo pictures, the hype is gonna go up again. People are gonna start like ordering this if they didn't do it yet because they wanted to see the final products. Rightfully so. They want to see if there's any issues with the body because Cody was one of them. A
Hmm.
lot of people had issues, and it makes perfect sense to not to pre-order as much because they want to see the final product in hand. So
Right.
once I do the review, and if you guys watch it, hopefully that might help to make up your mind and decide whether you should get this figure or not. I have a feeling that this figure is probably not make it to stock. um I can be wrong, just because I think the hype is so high, and especially when they see the final product in hand, people are going to start jumping quicker to this figure. So I think this one has the recipe of being gone before it even hits the shelves.
Yeah, I kind of feel that way too. That there is a little bit of a recipe here. And when we talk about that there's a formula, and we talk about a yellow alert, even a red alert. And Dante, I know you could speak to this. That's not a guarantee. I mentioned that in my other show. Oh, you put a yellow alert on, that means it's not getting in the stock. No, it just means that, and correct me if I'm wrong, Dante, you just can't play around with this figure. This figure is not going to be like the Jet Trooper just hanging out. It's certainly not going to be like even the Incinerator Trooper or the Death Trooper from The Mandalorian, where you've got 3 months. I just don't see any scenario where we have 3 months or we have any type of time like that with this figure.
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, it all depends, right? Let's say the final product is trash.
Mm,
So
yeah.
always we need to kind of be cautious, right? It is a possibility that this could be perfect or could be horrible. I don't think it's gonna be horrible. I think it's gonna be really good. Now, whether they gonna improve the body as I mentioned before, and they're gonna make it same as the 501st, which to me again is one of the best bodies for a trooper. You know, that's a possibility as well. And I think Hot Toys has been more cautious and more careful when releasing figures, especially health sculpts, especially addressing some issues because what happened with Mark 45, I'm sorry, Mark 85, which is a very known issue with the health sculpts and all those things. They don't want to have the same mistake, and of course they don't, because that delayed everything. It was a madness, pretty much. So again, this one has all the recipes to not hit the shelves. So definitely don't sleep on it. And yes, wait until you see the final products, the final picture. Wait until you see the reviews, and then make your decision. Um, because that's the way that you should do things, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, this one definitely. I can see it gone.
So let me ask you this: once this hits waitlist, whether it gets in stock, doesn't get in stock, whenever that is, what's the price automatically going to be once this hits waitlist within the secondary market?
Wow, that's a good question. I mean, if assuming that all the stores are sold out, that you cannot find it anywhere. I mean, this figure can hit the 350 range right away,
Yeah.
right away. And the more you wait, the less the more demand it goes, the higher the price is gonna be. So this one has the recipe again. How much is quoted right now? 460 based on your 6cantina.com. So just think about that, and
Well,
Rex is
Cody,
a
yeah, Cody's at 416. Yeah.
416, right? 416, not
Yeah.
460, 416.
That's the
So think
average.
that's the average. So think about Rex. One character that a lot of people are waiting for, and I don't know if it's fair to say, but probably more popular than Cody, right? Do you think he's more popular than? I think he's more popular than Cody.
Um, I do. I think right now, I think Cody, I think they're both extremely popular, but I think the buzz for Rex is just quite extraordinary and way above even where Cody was. Cody certainly had a buzz, and I'll pull this back, and here it is on the market value chart again, just Cody. And not only is it $416, which is an average, that means it sells a lot of times above 416, and it sells a lot of times below 416. But more times than not, because it has an arrow on the recent trend column, as you see there on your right, pointing up, it's selling more often than not higher and in the 400s consistently. And there was even, to be honest with you, let me see if I can pull this up, Dante. You'll get a kick out of this. Here's a damaged Cody that had some gluing. The person put in that they glued some a part together or whatever. And it was back from September 19th, and it still went for $345, baby, with 25 bids. When you see a secondary market price like that for something that's damaged, it really tells you the story of how sought after that figure is, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And the funny thing is that I actually fixed my Cody myself. And I'm not expert by all means, but I actually fix it pretty good. Like the joints are super tight, especially on the arms. So now you can do different movements and things like that. I removed the whole armor. I glue it back together very, very carefully, just to make sure everything is perfect. I mean, if you see the figure is perfect. The only thing is the when I was sewing the the back of the neck, because I'm terrible at that. So you can actually see the stitches really a bit off, but it's in the back, so you cannot even see it because it's just not, you're not gonna display your figure backwards, right? But even though it took me sometimes to do it, I should have done that. I mean, the figure should be perfect from the beginning. So, and that's circling back again to the question whether Rex will sell quicker. It all depends of how Hatos deliver the final product. If the body's gonna be better, no problems with the joints. If it's again same as the Fable first, man, definitely you cannot even wait to get this figure because yeah, gone, gone.
Well, and you're talking about, this is the Star Wars show. Thank you, everybody who's watching this right now. Brand new series here at Six Scale Cantina. And, there is some, new shows that are coming out, and there's different versions of Captain Rex and, an older version of Captain Rex. And who knows what, Favreau and Filoni may want to do. And, is it possible, Dante, that Captain Rex shows up in other shows? There's an older version, there's other versions or whatnot. And, I really think that, um, there can, I don't think that, my point is, I don't think that this is the last version of Captain Rex that we're going to get. And I'm not saying that there'll never be a reissue of this particular version that's coming out, but I think at first they're going to give us alternate versions of this. What say you?
It is definitely a possibility. I mean, with Star Wars and Hot Toys, anything is possible. I think it's gonna be, we're probably gonna wait a little bit to see a reissue of this one, or maybe a re-release, or maybe a 2.0.
Yeah, I think
I
it'd be
mean,
a while. I think if
it
they think
will.
they can make money on an alternate version, like I spoke about with that heavy infantry Mandalorian
Hmm.
coming up in season 3, if he has some differences in his armor, some new stuff, perhaps with the story arc, he takes the helmet off. That's what you're going to see.
Right, and the only way we can see Rex as well, and again, I haven't seen the Clone Wars, so I don't know much about the story. I don't know how he died, if he died, I don't know. But do you think, now I'm gonna go back at you, Aries? Do you think it is a possibility for us to see Rex either in the Book of Boba Fett or the Mandalorian, or that's scratch because he's no longer in 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 the Star Wars world?
No, no. Let me go back to just the first part. And I say yes. Look, um, yeah, there's so many possibilities with this, and there is a lot of buzz for this character, and they no one's ever really gone, and they could use him if it's in canon, it's not in canon, it makes sense, it don't make sense. Filoni and Favreau can find a way to have it make sense, right? So I think that when you're talking about science fiction and you're talking about Star Wars and you're talking about fan service, you can't think of everything in canon or that's been in the books or it's been in the movies as that's how it's going to be. It's going to be gospel. It can never change. It's not part of the true story. They can do. I mean, I think this with Darth Maul. I mean, even with the rebels, like, oh no, Darth Maul, he's not going to survive past this, or you know, George Lucas has said, what one of his ideas for the sequels was Darth Maul was going to be the baddie. That means he'd have to be alive during the sequels. So you have to wonder what in the world Favreau and Filoni and that whole group who've been consulting with George Lucas has been a consultant on many of these projects right now. If he's been really bringing home that they should use Darth Maul, you know, certainly from the Mandalorian season 2, they saw how excited people got seeing Ahsoka, seeing Boba Fett. I mean, shoot, Boba Fett was eaten by an underground dinosaur, if you will. He survived, right?
He did, yeah, he did, and that's the beauty of Star Wars. That's the beauty of Star Wars. And yes, I know a lot of people don't like the fact that some dead characters are coming back to life, but if Palpatine came back to life, why not freaking Boba Fett?
That's the
Why
most
not
ridiculous
Rex?
one.
Why not Mace Windu? So those are and that's the
Oh,
beauty of Star Wars. We have so much people that love this franchise. I love it. I mean, I'm from the '80s. I watched all the original trilogies. I fell in love with Luke, with Vader, with Palpatine. Those really strong characters. Then the sequels, I'm sorry, the prequels came. Mixed feelings at the beginning, but over time, the movies have been becoming more actually pretty good. Like I actually like to see those. Like episode two, episode three, episode one. I was 50. I wasn't that too much. Too crazy about it, but still, it's a good movie. Then the sequels happened. I think over time we'll see the sequels be more appreciated than now. But man, Mace Windu.
Yeah, you brought it up, baby. I had to put him up on the screen. We'll get to Ahsoka in a minute, but this is the Star Wars show. We're just having a conversation and a podcast here. Look, we talked about this on your show and on my show this past week. There's a lot of rumors anyway right now, Dante. If you watch any of some of the other rumor channels, that we both kind of watch here and look at some of the things that are going on, in articles and whatnot. But Samuel Jackson almost got in trouble, I think, on Twitter or one of these social media things, putting something out. But to me, this would make perfect sense. How do you top the finale of The Mandalorian season 2? Forget about the credits. I'm talking about just the ending of the show. And while Mace Windu is or no character in Star Wars, even Darth Vader is Luke Skywalker. Boy, this would be a shocker. And this is the Jedi who killed Jango Fett. And to be quite honest with you, Boba did bring Jango up quite a few times in The Mandalorian season 2, didn't he?
Yeah, and think about this, right? Season 1 of The Mandalorian, how did it end it?
Mm. Season 1 of The Mandalorian
Season 1.
with
Wasn't that
Moff Gideon there on top of the um his Imperial ship. I'm trying to remember the ending of season 1. Actually, I know that
it
um, Mandalorian Grogu got away. Cara Dune and
Cara Dune?
Cargo walked off, and didn't they end up with Moff Gideon on top of the ship with the ship with the dark saber?
Yes, yes, and then season 2 ended with Luke Skywalker. So
Yes,
there's always so the point is there's always a climax, right? There's always
yes,
something that is gonna make you feel like, "Shoot, what's gonna happen now?" They took Grogu and Din Djarin was like season 1, when they took Grogu, he was like, "Wow, I need to get him back." Then season 2 happened, and then Luke came, took Grogu for trading. Now, season 3 is happening, you know, but if we're gonna have the book of Boba Fett and the rumors that Din Djarin Mandalorian is gonna be in the book of Boba Fett in some, shape or form. So it is possible that either we're gonna see some type of cameo or some type of climax that is gonna lead to Mace Windu either on the book of Boba Fett or on Mandalorian, either at the beginning or at the end of the season. And that
well,
would be a perfect bridge
oh
to
god,
that would be a perfect bridge. Just imagine that, Mando is in a mission and they say, well, there is another Jedi besides Ahsoka and Luke that are out there. So then they go to whatever planet you want to call it, and then they see this guy with a hoodie, with a damaged eye, with a mechanical arm.
look, uh,
I'm
you're
already
you're
dreaming
listening.
about it.
I'm trying not to spill my coffee here. Look, I moved to the one that's in the with the lid. But look, I mean, I certainly could see this as a climax ending in the book of Boba Fett. And obviously would be a little bit older there than if he appeared in the Obi-Wan series, but can still appear in the Obi-Wan series younger. And but still along the same vein of whatever he looks like after that fall in that battle with the Emperor. But you do have to wonder if they can tie him into both series because they have talked extensively. Ahsoka's talked about how Grogu revealed through their mind communication that he was in the Jedi Temple and he was rescued. And I brought this up on my show last night. Is it possible that, a lot of the younglings and people in the Jedi Temple were taken by surprise by Darth Vader, Anakin Dark Side Anakin, aka really Darth Vader? But somehow, someone got Grogu out of there. And I don't think that anybody is going to slip past Lord Vader, to be honest with you. So, is it possible when he flew out the window that he made his way to the Jedi Temple, Mace Windu, and got Grogu out of there because a conversation shortly before in Revenge of the Sith that he had with Yoda and Obi-Wan was talking about the prophecy of the Chosen One and that possibly Anakin was not the chosen one, and a prophecy misread could have been. And did Mace Windu, Dante, put the pieces together that maybe it's Grogu, and they were born around the same time, and that when he went ahead and he flew out that window, um, that he went and got Grogu out of the temple because he knew that Palpatine was the Dark Lord of the Sith and got him out of there. What say you?
I have a theory, and we discussed this yesterday, but now I'm thinking about another one. So you see, when Windu was thrown out of the window, right? What if he did the force power and for some reason he was able to go to the side of the building by the window underneath so no one can see him, and he heard he heard the conversation between Palpatine and Anakin saying that you need to go to the temple and wipe out the whole, all the Jedi's,
Right.
he heard that and he's like, oh shoot, boom, let me go to the one that we I felt it was the chosen one, Grogu, rescue him and take him whatever, right? And then maybe something happened in between, and Grogu got lost and end up in the Mandalorian series, in somewhere, some way, right? So there's a
Hmm.
lot of things that can happen. Maybe he did it because he felt that something is gonna happen with the Jedi's, and he was his only hope, Grogu, and that's why he decided to rescue him. Or maybe Anakin spared his life. Maybe they met, they maybe trained when they were little, and he got that connection with Grogu. So there's a lot of things that can easily happen. Um, if they want to introduce Windu, that could be a good way of doing it.
Well, at Sam Jackson has said he would love to come back and reprise that role. Look, everyone who's watching, this is a brand new series here at Six Scale Cantina. This is the Star Wars show. So please go ahead and hit that like button while you're watching this new show. And please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. But I'm doing this with my friend Dante from the Man of Hot Collectibles. Don't forget to subscribe to his channel as well. I've got the link within the video description below. But this is what the Star Wars show is all about. We talk about the possibilities in Star Wars and how that could relate, Dante, to Hot Toys. So let me ask you this. Could we be getting two Mace Windows? Because, you know, I really do think that it would blow everybody away. The way to sell that Django Fett, which they're coming out with, it's on pre-order. The way to sell that Django Fett from the Attack of the Clones is to put out a Mace Windu from the prequels. Is it possible that we get that, which I personally think we're going to get a official tease or announcement of that before the end of the year? And is it possible that obviously if he shows up however he looks, that we have two on the market, just like there's two Ahsokas. You got the Clone Wars, you got the OG Ahsoka, and now you've got the Mandalorian Ahsoka. Is it possible that we get two Mace Windus? I mean, I would think he's just as popular as Ahsoka, maybe more. What say
And I say yes.
you?
I think I mean, if they get Windu, with I mean, it has to be if they want to do it now, has to be from the prequels, right? Because they cannot spoil the new shows. But that will be a another chapter that is gonna open because if they gave us Windu from the prequels, right, and then we see Windu in either Book of Boba Fett or The Mandalorian, there's 100% guarantee that we're gonna see that version, or maybe two versions. Maybe the one for the Book of Boba Fett and the Mandalorian, or only from whatever shows he's gonna be appearing. So, oh yeah, absolutely yes. We need to have the original window, in my opinion. We need to have the prequels so we can complete our Jedi figures, like with Obi-Wan, Qui-Gon, Yoda. Hopefully Windu. But yeah, absolutely. There's definitely a no-brainer. They
Yeah.
should do that. They should.
So let's talk about this real quick, which is still fun. It's a lot of fun to me, actually, because I have my perspective on this before we continue with what we're doing. But I want to get your take. I'll give you my take. because I get questions sometimes. Aries, it's so many Hot Toys figures. They can't keep coming out with figures. Okay. I think this is my perspective. Look, I am so stoked. I'm spilling my coffee over all these releases. It gives me personally the more, if they had 200 pre orders of Star Wars Hot Toys, I would prefer 300. That doesn't put any pressure on me to get any more figures. It just, I'm going to know that I'm going to get the ones that I really want. And I'm not going to just settle for Star Wars Hot Toys just to get a Star Wars Hot Toy because I need a Star Wars Hot Toys. I feel like sometimes people forget about that. Well, what am I going to do because I really want to get the armor, or I really want to get the Death Watch Mandalorian, and I want to get 5 of this trooper? Well, you don't need 5 of that trooper. You don't necessarily need this trooper. You don't necessarily need the Death Watch Mandalorian. The Death Watch Mandalorian is not the star in any way means of the Mandalorian. So for me, it's like, okay, well, that's great. I'd love to have that figure, but much rather have Mace. Forget about that. Forget about this side character. So for me, it's like going to this Walmart and going in the cereal aisle and having a selection. Don't you want to eat all of those? Well, it's not feasible. But I'm certainly going to get the few that I want, and it's going to be great. And then if I didn't have those few, oh, I'm going to get another cereal because I want cereal, but it's really not what I'm craving. So I think that that's a dynamic that people don't talk about a whole lot of. But here's the other thing. Hot Toys isn't going to tell Disney, I'm sorry, Disney. You're coming out with new content. And because some collectors don't want so many pre orders, we're not going to be able to service you and come out with any figures. So we're not going to come out with anything for 2 years because of these pre orders. Let's go tell the Disney brass that. This is not even a possibility. So I think people need to buckle up for double the amount of pre orders. And I don't think it's anything. I'm completely psyched about it. Unless someone just feels that they have to get 160 figures, well, I'm sorry, you need to think differently because you shouldn't. And even with the ones that are up right now, even if there was just 30 pre-orders, you probably shouldn't get those or 20, all of those. These are expensive. What say you?
I agree, and this is going back to what Fabio mentioned in your show. Hatos they don't care like how many pre-orders they're gonna launch. It's money for them, so the more the better. And the community is growing, and that's a fact. I mean, you and I started this channel, our channels, like really not that long ago. You are gonna be a year. I'm already a year and change. So there's a lot of collectors, man. It's a lot of new collectors, a lot of new blood. The market is getting crazy, and because of the new collectors, right, because of the new people that are coming on board, the market is the prices are jumping, going up, because that you have more demand now for those figures, right? Because new collectors didn't get the chance to get the Bespin look, for example. New collectors didn't have the chance to get the old Obi-Wan, Ben Kenobi. They didn't have the chance to get Princess Leia from A New Hope. So what's happening is, because we're getting so many new collectors, the prices are jumping so high, more demand. So everything happens for a reason, right? It's a complement. You do the 6cantina.com, you get the averages of all those prices, and you see spiking in prices because we have new people coming to the game, and
Mm,
it's fine, and it's good.
it's the same like, it's collecting Star Wars vintage, mock, and mint in box figures for years. And let me tell you, it is far more expensive. It's a far more expensive proposition than Hot Toys, and Hot Toys is very expensive. And you can't go into that. There are so many of the vintage mint on card, mint in box. Are you kidding me? And it's a far more selection than Star Wars Hot Toys. You can't go into that vintage unless you're a billionaire to thinking you're going to get all of those. But there's so much selection. Well, I got the ones I want. I don't want Clay 2. I don't need Weequay. I don't need that version of Lando. I don't need that version of Luke. I want the farm boy Luke. I want this one. You pick what you can, what you really, really want. And then if you continue once you get what you really want to get other ones that are on your bucket list, you work towards that. And I think it's the same thing here. So you can't come into this. or something that's very expensive like vintage mint on card or mint in box vehicles, and have the mentality that you're going to have with Star Wars the Black Series or Star Wars the 3 3/4. I know a lot of people fell into that, Dante, with the Black Series, which are far more expensive than the 3 3/4 inch figures. And they were thinking, oh, it's Black Series. It's just a little bit more expensive. Let me get every single thing and every con exclusive and every store exclusive that there is. And I was spending so much more money on Black Series and hoarding it up like a dragon than I am on Hot Toys right now,
Mm,
because I
yeah.
don't need every hot toy. What say you?
Yeah, similar to what happened with me with my Dragon Ball Z collection as its figure arts. I pretty much got, um, I will say maybe 95, 90% of all the figures that they are right now, in a few months because they're comparing to Hot Toys. These are not as expensive. However, if you want to get something that is an older version, something that is in the CDC exclusive or things like that, are actually very pricey. So going back to the point of the market and the prices and all those things, the fact that I think new collectors, new people, the demand increasing to get figures, previous figures from Star Wars, are helping the prices to go up, obviously. But besides that, is also the popularity of the brand, and Star Wars has been very popular forever, but
Yep.
now is more than ever because of what happened with the Mandalorian. So, whether you want to accept it or not, the Mandalorian helped Star Wars big time. And the new shows that are coming and all those things that are being announced is helping, 100% helping. People want to get the OG version of Obi-Wan. They want to get the original version of Anakin. They want to get the original version of Count Dooku because they know at one point they might do a flashback, they might do a cameo or something, and get another version of those characters.
Well, when you talk about OG, there is Ahsoka. We talked about Cody. We talked about Rex. We're talking about all this. So you're talking about OG, segueing right into this. We've talked about this before. I have a yellow alert on this right now. What do you think the prospect for this figure is within the secondary market? A and B. How long is this going to stay in stock, my friend?
Okay, so two excellent questions. So first, A, this is a unique figure. This is a unique figure. Just the fact that this has scope doesn't belong to anybody. It's a unique figure, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
It's Ahsoka from the Clone Wars. It's a unique figure. We, I don't know the quantity produced for this one. I know the pre-orders has been crazy for the when this one was announced originally, then slowed down a little bit when the Ahsoka from Mandalorian was announced. But it's still, man, these are two different figures. These are two different shows. Um, this figure has all the potential as well to be a hot seller, to be gone quicker. And again, going back to the Rex topic, it all comes to how they present the final product. If there are no issues with the body, because this one has seamless joints. So that could be a problem, right? Especially if you want to do some dynamic poses. How is the articulation? How is the body itself? Can this figure hold crazy poses? Can this figure is this figure good with the feet articulation? Can this figure balance and all those things? So it all is gonna be until you get the final product in hand. When you see the reviews, hopefully it's gonna be in our channel for the reviews, so stay tuned. And
I can't wait, baby.
man, if this figure it comes really good, same as Rex, it's gonna be gone in no time.
Let me ask you this. Look at this. Look at this figure. My goodness. If this looks as good as everything here, or I could take it a step further. Let's say it looks even better than this, and you're doing your review and you're going over the rolling eyes function. Uh, I mean, what is the ceiling? Oh my goodness. I just think that. You know why I have a yellow alert on this, but go ahead. I mean, if it's better, what say you?
Oh man, if it's better, that's it. That's it. This will be gone really quick. Really, really, really quick. Depending on the quantity, and the hype that this figure is gonna create to the fans, yeah, absolutely. It has all the recipes to be gone. Now the question is, if this figure comes out in, really good, which I think is gonna be a hit. Um, what are the prices that we're gonna see in the secondary market? I mean, that's another thing that people needs to also keep that in mind, because some people say, you know what, I cannot buy this figure now because my budget is already allocated to other figures. I'm just gonna wait until paid off certain figures to get this one. But maybe when that time comes, it's too late to get this one in retail. So you need to have a backup plan, right? Because when you start collecting, and this is just a general tip, when you start collecting Star Wars figures, you're right, you need to be either selective of what you're gonna get, or if you're gonna get all of them, make sure you have the budget to afford all of them, right? So it is always, it comes to you, obviously, the collector. um this one here, I can see right off the bat, as soon as it's waitlisted, probably going into 400, maybe 500 from the start,
Wow.
you
I
know?
mean, look, there's a picture of her posing with Rex, and a lot of these Clone Wars figures, the 501st, the Coruscant Guard, Rex, Ahsoka, they kind of intertwine. I mean, how many people are picking up those 501sts and are like, "Yeah, we're gonna pass on Rex and we're gonna pass on Ahsoka." I mean, come on.
Yeah,
It's
you
and
can't
how
pass on
many
a
people
sucker.
are gonna buy? Let me ask you this: with both of these up, how many collectors are gonna buy multiples of Rex at Ahsoka? I have my theory on why Ahsoka, but what say you on that?
Um, I probably think that if you're gonna get multiples of any of these, it's gonna be at least two. So you can have Rex, for example, with and without the helmet. Ahsoka probably two as well. You can have her with and without the hoodie or the poncho, whatever you want to call it. So two is gonna be the number, I think,
But
for
is
the
it
average.
possible that with Ahsoka, the other reason people would get multiples is they're skittish on the arm bending, and they would get one where the arms are straight, and one like, it's okay, I have her posed. I mean, is that going to be a situation?
Well, I think if people get multiples of that, I don't think they're gonna. I mean, they can do poses, obviously, right? But I would not recommend leaving those figures with seamless joints, especially with some type of rubber material, long time bended, because that could cause an issue. That could crack easily the body, and you don't want to have a figure with a crack in the middle. So again, it all will happen when we see the final product in hand, when we do the reviews, and we show people the limits, how much can this figure actually can hold in terms of articulation and flexibility. And then from that point forward, you'll make your decision whether this is something that you want to have, either one or two.
Well, yeah, and even with my Ray, and the way that I have her posed, the Ray and Dio, I have her posed in such a dramatic and elegant way where there's no danger to the elbow joint. So I guess, Dante, you have to wonder how many collectors are going to do the same thing here, and then maybe get another version where they might not leave it. They're not buying another version to damage it, but they're having another version where they can take more time to kind of like change the pose, and so it don't stay in one spot very long, and then another version like I do with Ray, where it's just completely straight the whole time.
It is a possibility as well. But now another thing that I was just thinking, and maybe it's too late already, but I mean, why not sharing this? Do you think it is a possibility that they might revise the body of Ahsoka instead of giving us seamless joints as it was advertised? Maybe do exposed joints so people don't have the problem of articulating the arm, because that's the piece that people are going to be kind of concerned about. Should I leave it in a super dynamic pose, knowing that the arms might crack or might show the crease, which it would look kind of horrible, or redesigning the body just a little bit and just put some seamless joints, but nicely painted, obviously nicely done, so it doesn't look that toyish type, right? I don't know. What do you think?
You know, I think it's possible. It's kind of interesting to me as you're talking about this. I didn't see too many complaints or people concerned with the Ray figure with that, and I almost heard that someone was saying, and maybe I'm just dreaming it, that they're not having any issues with their Ray or that type of thing. I know I was, and I have it displayed straight, but of course I bended it and played with it. So maybe they have improved it in a way, and maybe they could even state, hey, we got some new re-engineering here that's going to help the longevity of this material. Or how they give you spare lightsaber arms sometimes with a light up lightsaber. I wonder if sometimes they can give you two versions. Here's one with the seamless joints, but we have also one with the joints in it, with the more the ones that you were just talking about. I mean, is it possible that they could give you an extra set of arms?
That's actually a pretty good call, and I wouldn't mind at all. You know, Definitely I wouldn't mind at all. Especially for people that like to pose their figures in dynamic poses, because me personally, I like to have them in some type of museum pose. I really don't do a lot of crazy poses. Even though I have posing videos when where do the articulation and I basically abuse the figure. But I do it so you guys can see the limits, right? How much can this figure can hold in terms of articulation and possibility. So that would be a good call, actually. I didn't think about that. That would be pretty smart, especially for figures that they need to be, um, posed in a more dynamic way, like probably like a Spider-Man type of figure, because sometimes the suit limits the articulation the way it is. But obviously, honesty, I don't think um, Hot Toys is gonna give us something different than we've seen on the prototype. So it's gonna be seamless joints for a fact. I don't think it's gonna change that.
Yeah. Um, how fast? We both see a formula with Rex. I don't think I see a formula with Ahsoka. I mean, I give it a yellow alert for not being in stock long. I don't know if I see going to waitlist before it gets in stock, like the Mud Trooper, like the Heavy Infantry Mandalorian. Maybe there is. Maybe I'm not tying this in, that type of thing. But how long is Ahsoka? We've talked about Rex going to be available. I guess the question is, how fast is this going to sell out in Hong Kong, Dante? And how fast is it going to sell out here? How many of these are they making compared to, because now they're putting out the Mandalorian Ahsoka with Grogu? I don't know. I mean, I don't think this is one we could sleep on.
Yeah, and I have another. I agree with what you said. The Asian market is not too crazy about Star Wars, and we know that it's more Marvel based. Um, I think the quantity in Hong Kong probably will not be as much as in the US. But then I have another theory as well, right? What if, and this is something that I like to say, what if Hot Toys decide to also release Darth Maul from the Clone Wars? Because technically it is supposed to ship the same time as Ahsoka, right? And they do a dual release, so each one can complement each other.
Yeah, I think with this figure here, um, I think some people are sleeping on this figure because if you're getting a Clone Wars collection, I think a lot of collectors are going to want this figure for their Clone Wars collection. Certainly the Solo Maul, would you could fit it in there. The DX16 is the OG. You don't necessarily need this figure by any means. I have the DX16. I have the Solo Maul. I don't need it, but for me, getting the Rex, getting the Ahsoka, I absolutely want this figure. And it's not a question of, well, Aries, which one do you think is better? This one or the Solo one? The Solo movie didn't do as good, blah, blah, blah. That's not what it's about. I love the Solo version of the figure's outstanding. It's about what am I going to pose it with? And I think that you see the DX18, the solo one, getting close to the $400 tier range. I say within a year, it'll probably be up in there. The DX16 by itself without the bike is already has breached the $400 tier range. And Dante, I think that this figure, it's not going to be like, oh, well, you've got the DX18 around between 350, 375, 380, and you got DX16 in the 400s, and this one's just going to be, you know, 290 or 280. I don't see that at all. I think that this is another one that's going to go up fast.
Yeah, and I agree with that. Because Darth Maul is a really cool character, man. Like proof is we have it on this Clone Wars. Proof is we have him on this on the prequels. We had him in the Solo movie, possibly in the Obi-Wan show, possibly.
Oh, he's definitely coming in
You
the
know,
Obi-Wan,
s-
so I come
s-
on.
so this is a really good character. It is a possibility that this could be released sooner as well. I haven't heard anything from my sources telling me about this figure, but this is my prediction that we might see this guy coming sooner as well, and maybe at the same time as Ahsoka, and that will be perfect because a lot of people will jump on both at the same time. You want to have your Ahsoka with your Darth Maul together? I mean, come on, Clone Wars? Are you kidding me? You need to have them.
Well, let me ask
So,
you
you
this.
know,
From your experience, and you do a lot of reviews, does every figure okay, there hasn't been no word about, this mall coming out early, whatnot, this or that. Do you always have to hear a word for that to happen, or has Hot Toys before just put something out like out of nowhere, like, oh, I wasn't expecting it to come out, or okay, that was fast. Or I mean, for this the way it's listed, October through December would be on time. But I guess the question is, have you ever seen something like it where it's just like, oh, I've been hearing all this other stuff and I wasn't expecting this figure to drop? Could that be the same scenario here?
oh,
Has that happened?
absolutely, oh yeah, oof, many times. Remember, my sources, and I'm assuming unless you have someone who works in Hot Toys and will tell you everything with the schedules and everything. My sources don't work for Hot Toys, but they're close to people that works in Hot Toys. Then all the time they share the information, maybe some information that doesn't need to be shared at all. But yeah, I've seen that many times. Venom was a really good example. I wasn't told about Venom, and then boom, it came out. Um, you know, some figures might be released without us knowing anything. We're just kind of going by the time it's supposed to be released. Which matches the Ahsoka time. So it is very possible that they might have that under the sleeves, and then just one of day, boom, here you have Ahsoka and Maul. I can see that happening actually.
Well, let me ask you this. I'm going to bring up a figure that I think is a sleeper because I think we're associating it with the Mandalorian only. And I think it's a mistake. And there was some controversy with the head sculpt, which personally I don't get. But when I bring it up, you're going to go ahead and know what I'm talking about. But this particular figure is being associated only with the Mandalorian. And you got to remember that Hot Toys are putting out Clone Wars figures that resemble real life actors and actresses, not the way Sideshow was putting them out. And I really believe, and this character debuted in season 4, I believe, of the Clone Wars, that this, for a lot of people, especially with the helmets on, is going to be wow, I get another figure to display in my Clone Wars collection. Is it possible that people are sleeping on this Bo Katan figure, which, yes, she's in The Mandalorian, but even with this figure here, you can put this in your Clone Wars collection. And with all the hype on the Clone Wars and The Mandalorian, what is the prospect when you put those two together for this figure? Is this a figure that could actually come out earlier if Hot Toys could put together that this character was in the Clone Wars with all these Clone Wars releases coming out? Just something I was thinking about. What do you think?
I can see this figure being released sooner. Um, Probably, again, my guess, either probably January, maybe February, you know, just because they want to make sure that all the figures from the previous season of The Mandalorian are at least released or announced before the season 3 starts. And that's a smart move. But normally, if everything goes in order, like we don't have any delays in shipments or any delays in supplies for the company to produce these figures, then I can see this one being released sooner. Um, my guess, this is scheduled to be released in April, I think, 2022. Hong Kong, I would probably say February. That's my guess.
Mm. And if that's your guess, it's possible that this could even be January or December because we're right around the same line. So this definitely a candidate, especially if they want to go ahead and tie with the Clone Wars with this particular figure, where this could happen. And regardless of the head sculpt, and I think the main thing I was trying to figure out some of the controversy with it, the jawline, and I don't want to get into that whole thing, is very strong. Katie Sackhoff has a strong jawline anyway, so I think that's what. But I've seen her in so many shows. I mean, she's fantastic. So to me, I actually when I saw this, I was like, "Oh, that's great." I didn't even give it a second glance, and I guess when I'm looking at it with a magnifying glass, "Oh, I see what everyone's saying in there. Okay, yeah." But I'm just like, you know what? Anyway, it's kind of like people were talking about what even um uh what is it, Giancarlo Stanton? I think maybe I'm saying the name wrong for Moff Gideon, the Billy D. Williams with the Lando head sculpt. I mean, sure, it looks like anything could be improved. They're all painted by humans. I think the final production photos with things that have happened with Hot Toys and how disappointed people were with the Grievous and whatnot, they're not gonna put this out until they feel okay. This looks pretty good. Don't you think? Look at the Ray. If they can improve that Ray head sculpt, baby, they can improve anything, right, Dante?
Yeah, no, yes, I agree 100%. And I mean, the Hellscope is really not that bad on the prototype. That's why I don't like to judge the prototype as hard as if
Yeah,
I
me either.
have it in hand, just because it's a prototype. This can change, either can go better or can go worse.
Sure. Sure.
So that's why I can just kind of say a judgment based on what I've seen on the pictures. But I usually don't like to spend a lot on the Hellscope, just because we have precedent of how to fixing it, like Hulk, for example, Ray, Kylo Ren. I mean, come on. I think the final product is gonna be better. It's gonna be improvements all over, 100%. I think the Hellscope is gonna look much, much better than this one, even though this one doesn't look bad at all.
Well, listen, let's talk about a couple of things here that both you and I have been jamming home. And now there's been some significant news about this particular two-pack set. It's coming out way earlier than anticipated. And I actually believe now they're putting this at January now. That's probably going to get released in Hong Kong either tomorrow or sometime in November. Let's get right to it, baby. And I am look, I'll admit I wasn't expecting to spend $500 now on it. I was expecting it next summer. So I have to adjust some things, but this is something I'm actually happy about this one because this is Boba Fett surviving the Sarlacc pit. That's what this means to me. Forget about Mandalorian, forget about whatever that this turned up in. This means a lot to me. But look, I this is coming out quicker sooner than later, and I think that the reason it is for a couple of reasons. There's gonna be a lot you have Boba Fett and the throne, which is really the foundation of the book of Boba Fett. I don't think you're gonna see these outfits ever again, and you're not gonna see them really in the book of Boba Fett. It's gonna be different outfits, different things. Um, I don't see him putting on the robes again unless he wants to go undercover on Tatooine. I just don't see them wasting time with this. I think this is one and done, and I think that this coming out early for 2 reasons. They don't want it to get lost when the throne room comes out off the hype of the book of the Boba Fett show when that comes out. And number two, Boba Fett series, any figure of Boba Fett is going to be moving and going to be hotter. So people are like, oh, I can get this right now. let me get this. So I think you tie them all in together, and they want this to be out sooner, way sooner than the throne room and Boba. But this is I, and I don't think I just don't think this is gonna get in stock, baby. Talk to me about this.
Well, a funny thing is that the other day on your show, I was mentioning this, right? That I have a feeling that this figure is gonna be probably releasing sooner rather than later, just because of the Book of Boba Fett that is announced in December. This figure is gonna come this year. I can tell you right now, this figure is gonna come this year, either late October, November, before the show of Boba Fett. It has to be out because people, as you said before, people are looking for that iconic Boba Fett in the throne. They're looking for the different versions of Boba Fett that we're gonna get in the book of Boba Fett. So, to push this one to be released sooner is a good call, in my opinion, because yes, it is a totally different figure. I mean, the paint application is different. You have a full Tamura Morrison's body with a beautiful head sculpt. The armor like of Boba Fett is very like with a lot of scratches, like very weathered.
It's
So
hot, baby.
I mean the bases. I mean you name it. This one
Oh,
absolutely. This one here, and when I did my figure preview on this one, and I said that this probably is gonna be sold out sooner. Obviously it didn't happen. And again, it was just my guess. I can be wrong, obviously. I think when this figure is actually released, people are gonna jump like crazy because I mean, first of all, it's a two pack, and just right there, you have a two pack with really good detailed figure, pretty much a DX. Even though it's a deluxe version, but not DX is different, right? DX has more, tailoring is way better. This, maybe accessories, whatever. But this one here has a lot of things. So for 495 plus tax and shipping, just think about how much this figure is gonna be when it is sold out in the
it's
secondary market.
it's less than 250. It's like 247 something or whatnot a figure. It's actually with all these accessories,
It's pretty
pretty
good.
good.
It's
People
pretty
talk about
good.
that Lando's a good deal at 235 or whatever. This is a really good deal.
I'm telling you, man. People should not sleep on this one.
And you know,
It was pushed back for a reason. I'm sorry, pushed earlier for a reason. So you'll see.
well, give a shout out to one of our regular viewers on both of our channels. OG fan when Star Wars was just I think that's the name when Star Wars was just Star Wars. But he always goes ahead and chats in. Boba Fett is the most feared bounty hunter in the galaxy. Must have all Boba Fett. So shout out to OG fan. But you have to wonder how many collectors feel. I'm sure that there's some that feel the same way as OG fan. And let me ask you this. How many people are really not putting together that Tamora Morrison in the robes over there is actually Boba Fett, and they're not offering this by itself. And one thing I want to point out, which I don't hear a lot of, I keep hearing that this is the same exact head sculpt as the Boba and the Throne Room. And we kind of talked about this, and you did your review, and you saw it. He actually looks a different direction than the Throne Room version looks another direction. That doesn't mean they can't change anything, but I think they're kind of telling you there's going to be difference in this head sculpt than the other one.
Yeah, of course. That's what they always do. They're gonna give you something exactly the same. They're gonna change something. Maybe the way it's looking.
Go ahead, I dropped my mic. I
Oh,
spilled my coffee. I spilled my mic and my coffee
oh
with
my
this.
god, already. It's ways that you can, that he's looking one way or looking the other way. Obviously, it's gonna be a unique figure regardless.
And
So
they could change it, and it could look, when they come out with it, it could look the same way, or it can be where it's too bad they didn't give you rolling eyes on this. But the point is that head sculpts are head sculpts, right? I mean, you got the dark side Anakin one that goes for 350 to $400 just for the head sculpt. I mean, on eBay for
I
for
know.
for the dark side Anakin, but they do look two different directions right now on the prototype pictures. It's very interesting.
Yeah, they do. They do. And this is definitely one that you cannot sleep on it because yeah, I mean, even if you buying this stuff for just some type of investment, if you will. I mean, obviously, it's not recommended. If you're a collector, you're a collector. But come on, some people do it because they see it as an investment, and that's a fact too. Even for that, any two pack out there, it's gonna sell high. Proof,
You
we
know,
have the Han Chewie, we have the Han and Chewie with old Han Solo. Same with Tarkin and Vader. I mean, you can't go wrong with this for sure.
no, and I think that once this gets out in the secondary market, there's going to come a time where people are going to be like, "Oh, I have every Boba Fett, but technically, I don't have this Boba Fett." And I think that's the magic of this particular two pack, and very, very interesting. I still don't put it all together why they're not offering Boba Fett with the robes by itself. Very, very interesting that they did this.
Yeah, and I can't wait for this one to be released, to be honest. Since the day I did the figure preview, I'm still like, man, I want this guy to be out now. I don't want to wait a year. I want it.
So I'm going to bring this one up here, Dante, because this is one that I called out. And maybe I'm crazy, but I really don't think I am. But I want to get your thoughts just one on one with you here on this figure. And I'm going to flash this up on the screen. Is this the same scenario as the Boba Fett 2 pack? Now, let me point this out. We've talked about the Ray and how all the Ray figures in the secondary market, the Resistance Ray, the Ray and BB-8 set, and the Ray the Last Jedi are high within the secondary market. Low supply, high demand, Ray and Dio. You see what's happening with that figure. How much higher are the Anakins within the secondary market? You've got the dark side Anakin, which is steady in the low $800 tier range. And you've got the regular Anakin steady in the low $600 tier range. And you have to wonder, this Anakin Skywalker, and especially Anakin Skywalker with the stab of both of these, how low, how long they have been. And this figure looks outstanding. I don't see a scenario where this figure goes on waitlist whenever it does. And you're going to have the Anakin from, Revenge of the Sith around getting to 700, and the Dark Side at 800. Oh, you can pick this up for 300. I think this one is one of those figures where it's maybe a sleeper. It's getting overlooked a little bit. It's an outstanding head sculpt. It's a way that you can get Anakin in your collection at a cheap price. And once this hits a wait list, it's going to rise very, very fast because of the other Anakins where they are. But is it possible that this has that heavy infantry Mandalorian thing with it where it's just not going to get in stock? Look, I, I love the Scout Trooper and Speeder Bike. And I know they did an early unsealed and revealed for that. And I love the Scout Trooper. But this is Anakin Skywalker, baby. And the Clone Wars are hot. Talk to me about this.
Yes, and this one here, my sources told me, and I shared this many times as well, that this figure is going to be released this year as well. Whether that happens or not, well, we'll need to see that, right? But this figure is scheduled to be released January next year, according to Sideshow. And normally, it's out in Hong Kong a month or two earlier. So, is it possible that we're gonna see the whole Clone Wars figures this year? Of course. I think we're gonna see this guy coming. Now, the headscope is beautiful in this one. Everything is really, really good. So I can see this figure, being sold quicker as well, especially because I have a feeling, and I was told as well that the General Kenobi is going to be announced this year as well. So it is a possibility that we're going to see that announcement and then the release of Anakin. So it can help to boost both the pre orders and the sales.
Yeah, very, very interesting. So, everyone who's watching, this is a brand new show on six scale Cantina called the Star Wars Show. And you can see that not only do you have the Dark Jedi Aries Terrington, who serves up all the Star Wars Hot Toys talk. But you also got Dante from the Man of Hot Collectibles, who's going to be joining me on this show. So I hope you're all enjoying that. Please go ahead and hit that like button if you haven't already. And please go ahead and subscribe to Six Scale Cantina and the Man of Hot Collectibles, which his channel, just type it in and you'll find it, or go to my video description, hit the link, and subscribe to him as well. So let's get into our final thing here before we go ahead and wrap up the first ever Star Wars show here at Six Scale Cantina. And piggybacking off of Anakin, let me just get your thoughts. We talked about this on the live show, and I'll flash this up on the screen. You can see that Hayden Christensen is one of the confirmed actors that are going to be in the Obi-Wan series. And of course, this is only what they're letting you know about. Whether Sam Jackson or Ian McDermott or this one or that one are in there, they're not going to let you know. Those are going to be surprises, just like they did The Mandalorian season 2. What are your final thoughts on what they can do? We just saw Clone Wars Anakin. That's going to be coming out. You have Dark Side Anakin. You have regular Anakin. Obviously, you're going to get some type of Anakin or some type of Darth Vader with this Obi-Wan Kenobi from Hot Toys for sure. Depending on how they show him, flashbacks, what's going on with Darth Vader currently. Hayden Christensen said he will be having the Darth Vader suit. He'll be the one wearing it. What are they going to do here, in your opinion?
Man, I just can't wait for this show, man. To be honest with you, they can do a lot of things with this, man. They can do
What's
a lot
Deborah
of
Chow
things.
going to do here? Who directed a couple of Mandalorian shows, and even though Filoni and Favreau are not involved in this, they're certainly consulting.
Right. Man, I don't know. I mean, definitely we're gonna see, Vader and Obi-Wan, maybe multiple versions of Obi-Wan, younger, older, and maybe a version of the a New Hope version. Maybe he gets to that point because maybe they do a hybrid type of character, right? Um, we're probably gonna see like young Leia, young Luke somewhere. So,
Ooh.
we're gonna see a lot of characters from the OG trilogy for sure. And I mean, the possibilities are endless for this. To be honest with you, I have a prediction. I think if this show does really, really good, I think we're gonna see a movie for this. Besides the show, I think they're
Mm,
gonna have a movie, like a type of Rogue One movie, maybe connecting that before the A New Hope. You know, uh, I think that's a possibility as well. Just throwing that out there. Maybe I'm too crazy, but
no, I mean I could certainly see that. They could do that. They can go ahead and certainly give us an extra season or a spin-off from it. Believe me, if Disney is making money and this does well, they'll go ahead and they'll capitalize on this. And you have to wonder, is it possible that they know fans are wondering, we're going to see Ray Parks, we're going to see Darth Maul, are we going to see computerized imagery again of Moff Tarkin, just like they did in Rogue One? You know, are we going to see um, Ian McDermott, the Emperor? Are we going to see this one? Are we going to see that one? This and that. And they know that people have this anticipation now because of the Mandalorian and how they've been responding and kind of going almost an opposite direction of what they've done in the sequels, quite frankly, with this type of fan service. So you have to wonder, are they really? I don't think they're going to let us down with this because you just said how much you're looking forward to the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. They have to put together how much people are looking forward to the Kenobi series. They don't want to repeat any mistakes from the past years. They want to keep this going. Come on. I just think I think we're going to get blown away with this series, baby. That's my thoughts. I really do.
and I agree 100%. And whether the question is, are we gonna get a lot of hot toys out of this show? Hell yeah, get your wallets ready because you're gonna see a bunch of figures coming. If you thought what we had from the Mandalorian is a lot, wait until these shows happen. That's my prediction.
I absolutely agree. It is crazy. It is crazy. This was a lot of fun, my friend. I
Very
had a lot
fun.
of fun with this.
It's fun. I mean, Star Wars. I mean, I love Star Wars. You love Star Wars. You guys love Star Wars. So it's been a really cool episode for this Star Wars show. I'm very happy to be here talking about stuff that I love, which is this franchise. The possibilities are endless. But yeah, man, looking forward for episode 2 already.
Well, listen, please go ahead, everybody who's watching. Please hit that like button if you enjoyed the content. And please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. I so very much appreciate your support. And please also go ahead and subscribe to the Man of Hot Collectibles channel. I know he very much appreciates your support as well. And if you like what you saw here, and you would like some expanded analysis, some heightened thoughts, perhaps some crazy unboxings, some conversations with the Hot Toys Wizard, with some greatest hits moments, you may want to consider becoming a Cantina Insider. All you got to do is go to that little join button on my main channel here on YouTube, click on it, see what it comes with. If it's something that may interest you and benefit you, you may want to consider it. Also, don't forget to follow us on Facebook. Um, it's really growing fast. Our Facebook group. We talk about a lot of the content here at Six Scale Cantina. A lot of these shows, and also we talk a lot about the content on the Manaha Collectible show on the Facebook as well. We kind of work together. He posts some of his stuff on there. I post some of my stuff. It's Six Scale. What is the name of your group? I want to say it wrong.
Yeah, Six Scale Media.
Six Scale Media. Yes.
Hmm.
So check that out as well. Bookmark to both. And join. We'd love to have you go ahead and do that. And I think is it my turn this Friday or your turn? I think it's my turn this Friday, right? Yes.
Yes,
'Cause-
it's your turn. Yeah, it was my turn. Yeah, it's your turn next Friday. Yes.
So if you want to see Dante and I this coming Friday, don't forget to tune in 9 p.m. Eastern, and it'll be the Market Chart Show. It'll be the Market Show live this coming Friday, so you don't want to miss that. And we'll have a full panel as well, and more information on that to be coming. Um, Before I go
Hopefully,
ahead and sign off, let's see what Dante has coming up here
yes,
on the Manaha Collectibles. Go, baby!
yes. Just wanted to say, hopefully, we can discuss Ahsoka and Rex next Friday. That will be perfect.
Oh yeah,
That will be
uh,
perfect.
is it possible?
Is it possible? Let's see. Let's wait and see. But yeah, Aries, thank you. Always a pleasure being here with you. This show I think is gonna be a hit. We accept any criticism, any feedback you guys want to give us. By all means, you can leave the comments below. We're gonna be well. We probably already responded to your questions on the premiere, but yeah, this has been fun. Now, what's going on with my channel? So we have a new show coming very, very soon. It's actually premiere in October. I'm gonna be announcing the name of the show hopefully next week. So stay tuned for that. I already have the name. I just wanna, kind of working on a few minor things. It's gonna be a show between, two collectors. Me and someone else, someone that your favorite collector, your favorite YouTuber, your favorite artist. Who knows? It's gonna be one guest with me talking about what we like, which is collecting. So stay tuned for that. We're gonna have a new unfiltered show coming very soon as well, most likely next week. So stay tuned for that. You see, with Unfiltered Show, we don't have a set schedule for those. We just have 5 episodes during the season. So we already are in season 2. So stay tuned. And of course, any unboxing and reviews or any figure previews, you're gonna see it on my channel. And same as Aries, we have a membership going on. I'm gonna be doing a show exclusively for members. It's gonna be members exclusive. So if you want to join the channel, become a member of the channel, by all means you can. Same as Aries, we have a join button. Click on it. Don't forget to follow me on my Instagram and Facebook group Six Scale Media. I put the link, or he will put the link in the description below. Thanks, Aries. I appreciate it.
No, absolutely. It's a lot of fun. Looking forward to more of these shows. So I love this one. So we'll go ahead and close it like this, like I do on my live shows. I don't always buy coffee out. But when I do, I buy from six scale Cantina. Stay thirsty, my friends. See you Friday.